Okay, so let's jump right into a really big idea. We're about to unpack one of the most powerful and maybe even a little uncomfortable concepts for personal growth. It's this idea that suggests the real key to your future, well, it might be sitting right next to you.
And here it is. This is the quote that really kicked this whole conversation off, from the legendary motivational speaker Jim Rohn. It's so simple, right? But it's also incredibly direct. It forces you to look at your relationships in a completely new way. The idea here is that your friends, your family, your coworkers, they're not just companions. They're basically the architects of your mindset.
So why the number 5? It's not just some random number he pulled out of a hat. Not 50, not 10, just 5. And that's because it represents your inner circle. These are the people whose habits, attitudes, and beliefs you are subconsciously soaking up day in and day out.
No, really, take a second. Who are they? Who are the 5 people that immediately come to mind? Your partner? Your best friend? Maybe that coworker you grab lunch with every single day. This isn't just some theoretical question. These people are actively, right now, shaping who you are and, more importantly, who you're becoming.
And look, this isn't about someone telling you what to think or what to do. It goes so much deeper than that. It's about unconsciously adopting their standards, their energy, their way of looking at the world. Their ambition, or maybe their lack of it, can slowly become your own, and you might not even realize it's happening.
So, how does this whole thing actually work on a psychological level? Well, there's a really cool concept that explains the mechanics behind Jim Rohn's quote. Let's call it the social mirror effect.
Think of it like this. Your inner circle acts like a giant mirror. It's constantly reflecting back at you what's considered normal. They set the baseline for what's a reasonable goal, what's an acceptable way to live your life. In a very real way, they are defining your reality.
And that social mirror, well, it can reflect two very, very different pictures. On one side, you've got a circle that lifts you up. Their conversations are about growing, about new ideas, about what's possible. But on the other side, you might have a circle that just drains you. You know the type, where every conversation seems to circle back to complaints, problems, and limitations. And that negative energy, it's contagious. It can quietly kill your progress.
Now, it's so important to get this next part. This is not about judging your friends or your family. It's not about labeling people as good or bad. This is simply about being aware. It's about recognizing the kind of energy and influence you are allowing into your most valuable assets, your time and your mind.
Okay, so once you have that awareness, what do you do with it? We can't just stop at the theory, right? We need a game plan. This is all about shifting from being a passive sponge to becoming an active curator of your own inner circle.
And let's be clear, this isn't a call to just cut people out of your life cold turkey. It's a call to be more intentional. It's about consciously deciding who gets your best time and energy. Who are you actively choosing to learn from, to be challenged by, and to grow with?
So how do we get intentional about this? We can break it down into 3 simple but really powerful steps. First, we audit our current circle. Second, we seek out the right kinds of influences. And finally, we have to focus on how we can be that positive influence for other people.
All right, step 1, audit. This is the moment for some real, honest inventory. Get out a piece of paper and write down those 5 names. Now, next to each name, just think about their general mindset. Are they positive? Do they have goals? And maybe the most important question, how do you feel after spending time with them? Do you feel energized and inspired, or do you feel kind of drained?
Okay, next up is step 2, seek. If your audit showed you that there's a gap, that you need more positive energy, then it's time to be proactive. This means you gotta actively look for people who are where you want to be. Find a mentor, join a club, a gym, an online community, whatever it is. Find people who are on the same journey as you. You really do become who you surround yourself with. And finally, we come to step 3, be. And honestly, this might be the most important one, because this whole principle is a two-way street. You are in someone else's 5. So what kind of reflection are you giving back to them? Are you the person who inspires, the one who supports and lifts others up? We all have a responsibility to be that positive force in the lives we touch.
So let's bring this all together. The real power of this idea isn't just in knowing it exists, it's in actually doing something about it. It's about taking control of what is probably the single biggest influence on your own personal growth.
So, here is your challenge, starting right now. First, actually identify your 5. Second, ask yourself that tough question. On the whole, are these people lifting me higher or are they kind of pulling me down? And third, just take one small proactive step. Just one. Reach out to one person you admire, or join one group that lines up with where you want to go in life.
Let's end with this. Your future isn't some far-off thing that just happens to you. It's the direct result of the choices you make every single day. And one of the biggest choices you get to make is who you give your time to. So, who are you choosing?